They just received a notice that we're live streaming.
Yep, you are now live.
Perfect. So this meeting is called to order at 5:13 p.m. So I'd like to just begin by reading the land acknowledgements. So the Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. So for today's introduction, I think it'd be good to sort of just do a little round of introductions. So if everyone could sort of give their name, their pronouns, a bit about their background. I'm going to add a little fun, maybe give one fun thing you did this summer. So I'll start us off. So my name's Cyril. I'm the chair of the committee. My pronouns are he, him. A bit about my background. I essentially grew up in Halifax most of my life. I'm currently in second year medical school here at Dal. And in terms of one fun thing I did this summer, ended up going to Paris to the Olympic Games, which was really fun. I booked my tickets 4 days before flying out and had a blast. So
It's going to be very hard to top that, but good evening, folks. My name is Adam Huffman. My pronouns are he, him. I'm very excited to be back meeting with the Youth Advisory Committee. I am the community developer for the youth section of Parks and Recreation, and part of my role is supporting the Youth Advisory Committee, helping with booking meeting spaces. When we do start meeting in person, I'll be the one that's ordering the pizza and the drinks for everybody. But I'm very happy to be here with you folks. And this summer, I spent a lot of time outside with my two young children, and I started running. I've never been a runner before, so I started out slow and I've been working up to 10K. So I've been feeling a lot better physically and mentally, and I'm hoping to keep that going and possibly run a half marathon in the valley in the fall. That's my goal. But very excited to see you all again. Thanks very much.
Dorothy, you can go next. Or I'm almost home.
Okay, sure. My name is Dorothy, and I am filling in for Katie. I am also a legislative assistant here at the clerk's office. So my job is pretty much the same as Katie, just clerking different kind of advisory meetings as well as standing committees. I didn't go to Paris in the summer, but just like Adam, I have been spending a lot of time outside with my 3-year-old, which has been a lot of work. Yeah, and I went to the Sean Paul concert this summer too, which was nice, which was fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm excited to meet everyone and be part of this committee.
Hi, my name is Demony, and my pronouns are she, her. A bit about myself. I live in Bedford. I love writing poetry, performing, writing music, things like that. And this summer I went to Shad, and it was an amazing experience.
My name's Abraham. I've lived in Canada for about 9 years now, and I'm second year at SMU doing commerce, and nothing much happened this summer other than me working. So,
Hello everyone. My name's Heba, and I am Pakistani, and I moved to Canada in 2017. And I spent a year in Ontario, and then I've been here for the rest. Um, this summer, I went to Turkey and London to visit family and stuff, and it was really fun.
Hi everyone, my name is Abdullah. I'm a first year medical student at Dal. One fun thing that I did this summer was I started to learn how to row on water here in Halifax, and I highly recommend for anyone. And for Adam, regarding the marathon thing, I just started couch to 5K yesterday on the treadmill, and it's really hard. So any tips, highly willing to listen to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Tanya Ali, and I'm in grade 11, Charles Young High School.
My name is Simone. I grew up in the HRM in more of the rural area, and then I moved into the city for school 3 years ago. So I'm a third year student at SMU studying marketing and sports business. Um, I also feel like all I did this summer was work, but I did get to babysit my sister's dog for about a month and a half while she was away for work, and that was a lot of fun. And we went on a lot of walks in the city.
Sick. Has anyone not gone yet? I think everyone's gone, haven't they? Perfect. So, hello again, everyone. I know nice to see you all again. I know it's been sort of a while, but now that you know the fall is we get into the rhythm of things. So, to start off, I'd like to proceed to item 2, so approval of the minutes for May 16th of 2024. So I'd just like to ask if there's any changes the committee would like to make on these minutes. Perfect. So if there's no need, then I'll call for a motion to approve the minutes from May 16, 2024. It's also requiring a mover and a seconder.
I'll move.
Thank you, Abraham. And a seconder.
I'll second.
Perfect. Thank you. And so I'll just call the motion now to a vote. So that the minutes of May 16, 2024 be approved as presented. So all those in favor say aye or raise your hands. Perfect.
Aye.
So perfect. All those who oppose say nay. I'll give that a bit of time, but I believe, and that is unanimous. So we now approve the minutes for May 16th of 2024. Now we're going to proceed to item number 3, so approval of the order of business and approval of additions and deletions. So Dorothy, is there any additions or deletions for today?
No additions or deletions have been received by the clerk's office, although because we're still waiting for our presenter, we could probably move 17.2.1, which is a presentation, to the end of the meeting.
I'm
So
okay
we
with
could
that.
go through the
So I
whole of the
can,
agenda
so it
and
just
wait.
asks, okay, so we need a mover and a seconder for them, don't we?
Yes,
Perfect. So we just need a mover to mover for a motion to remove presentation from Phoenix Youth Outreach to the end of the meeting. So anyone who wishes to move it, say aye or raise your hands.
I'll move.
Perfect. Thank you, Domini. And then one need a seconder for that as well.
I'll second.
Perfect. Thank you, Abraham. So now we're just going to put the motion to a vote to move the presentation from Phoenix Youth House to the end of the meeting. So for that, all those who approve say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. And all those who oppose say nay. Perfect. And the motion carries. Next order of business is whether there's any conflicts of interest. We'll just ask all committee members if they do have a conflict to declare it. Perfect. So as there are no declarations of interest, the meeting proceeds. Now on to item 7.1. So Dork, has there been any correspondence received by the clerk's office?
no correspondence has been received by the clerk's office.
Perfect. Item 7.2, has there been any petitions been received by the clerk's office?
No petitions have been received by the clerk's office.
Perfect. So I'm move on to 7.3. So I know that the presentation has been sort of delayed to the end of the meeting. Was there any other items we wanted to discuss or that anyone wanted to I know sort of it's been a while since we've last met. Is there any sort of any thoughts or any sort of anything like that any of the members had?
Adam, I was just wondering, with the municipal elections coming up pretty soon, is there anything that we're gonna be involved in like we planned, or is that kind of just go to the side for now?
It has gone to the side for now. My manager, Lee Moore, who's the manager of the youth section, was in correspondence with Ian with the elections team. And we had some ideas thrown around, but because the youth section of Parks and Recreation has now taking on the creation of a seniors recreation service plan, because we don't currently have a seniors section or a seniors community developer. It's actually fallen on to my desk. So I've created a seniors recreation advisory group who's going to be helping sort through the data and bring credibility to that plan. So because that has been such a huge undertaking, in addition to my regular role, they had a conversation that we were going to put that off to the side. But I mean, that being said, if the committee would like to do something on their own, I would be more than happy to support that.
Okay, sounds good. That senior center sounds so cool. We really need that.
Yeah. It's we don't have a seniors recreation service plan yet, and we've heard from a lot of folks. We've been going around the city meeting with community organizations that serve seniors, and we've been able to pull a lot of data from our Legend software around what programs seniors are attending, where they're attending, what time of day is the best time, and the advisory group is actually the formation of it is based off of the youth advisory committee's formation and the scoring matrix and all that. So you folks actually played a huge part in getting things rolled out for that plan. So thank you.
Perfect. So just for perspective, the election is, if I'm wrong, is the 19th or 17th next week? I believe it's the 19th. So is there any sort of, I mean, are there any sort of opportunities that we could do for even community outreach, especially sort of in our age group where, for a lot of people our age, it's usually for their first time voting. And I wonder if one thing we could do is with the universities where I don't think a lot of people know that even if they're sort of here from Ontario, like if they've as long as they've been here the last 6 months and they are eligible to vote in the municipal election in Halifax. So I almost wonder if there's room for us to sort of do any sort of advocacy at the university level.
I'm not too sure. I'm not well vested in the elections.
Mm.
But then if that was something that the committee was interested in terms of like information about how the elections work and how they can get involved, we could look at
Mm.
probably having another meeting, a special meeting just dedicated to elections, since the next meeting is actually still pretty close to the
Yeah.
election. If the
Mm.
members would want to have like a special meeting dedicated to having information about the election and how to be involved.
I know Ian gave a similar presentation. I believe it would have been almost 6 months ago by now. So I'm just trying to see. I wonder if there'd be any way to follow up with him, maybe, and see if there's, and once again, as you said, if necessary, we could also have that special meeting. But yeah, just because, as you said, our next meeting is until the 17th.
I could, if there are no other questions or anything, we could probably take a little break and check in with our presenter. That works.
Yeah, sounds good.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So we haven't heard back from the presenter. So Adam and I were just chatting, and I think the best would probably be to reach out to her to come maybe to the October meeting if possible. So at this point, we'll just need a mover and a seconder to delete her presentation from the agenda, and then we can move on from there.
Perfect. Perfect. So I'll just ask for, as sort of Dorothy said, if anyone wants to move that motion. Perfect. Zoe, do you move that?
Yeah, I'll move.
Perfect. And a seconder?
I'll second.
Perfect. Thank you, Abraham. So now we're just gonna put the motion to a vote to delete the item. The item of Phoenix Youth House presentation. So all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Perfect. And and all those who oppose say nay. Perfect. So the motion carries unanimously. So we've officially deleted from the agenda the item from Phoenix Youth House. We can sort of discuss with them later about how perhaps having them come in for the October meeting. This is a light agenda for today. But I think a good thing for just with the election coming up so soon, I wonder if it might be worthwhile reaching out to Ian I know he's super busy right now, or someone else from that sort of elections team, and perhaps schedule a special meeting sometime in the next couple of weeks, and that way you can sort of try and see. I think there's room with the universities, especially where I think it's be worthwhile to see if we could try and encourage a greater turnout from university students. But I mean that's one thing that I learned from Ian King with the presentation is that you're allowed to vote here as long as you've been here 6 months. Like you don't have to necessarily have lived through your whole life. And there's a lot of university students usually would fulfill those requirements. So I think it'd be something worthwhile. I'd like be curious to hear if anyone has any sort of feelings about if that sounds reasonable. Sort of leave the floor to the rest of the committee.
I think that's a good idea. I was also wondering, like, a lot of my friends, they didn't know like how to register to vote. And when I talked about it, they were surprised that they could even vote, even though they're like maybe they're not residents or just that they're university students. So I think even just as far as getting the word out that it's a thing that university students can do here, I think that would make a really big difference in turnout, or just that they know that it's an option.
Absolutely.
Sure. I could definitely reach out to the elections team and figure out how best to proceed, and then probably reach out to the members and figure out a date for October.
So I'm wondering if even then we can reach out to the school student unions. Like I know Browns, these would have one at the very least, and just see if there's any interest in them. Like if they want to set up a table, it could even be a statement, but register for the municipal election, something like that. And that way, it just creates some publicity for it, and also that's maybe something we can reach out to the elections team, see if they have posters or any stuff like that, just if we wanted to if there was a table that could be set up at the university campuses.
Yep, sure. I can take that back to them too.
Perfect. Anything else any topic anyone else wanted to broach? If not, then we can perhaps look into adjourning the meeting, but I'll sort of just leave the floor open for a bit.
Sorry, Chair. Patricia
Yes.
just joined.
Did she? Okay.
Yes. Okay, I will promote her right now. Just 1 second.
Are we able to do a motion to put that back on the schedule?
Yes. We would need a motion to put it back on.
Perfect. So I might as well just do the motion now. So just gonna create a motion to add the presentation of the Phoenix Youth Outreach as an agenda item. So for that, we'll need a mover.
I'll move.
Perfect. And a seconder.
I'll second.
Perfect. And then so just putting the motion out to a vote to add the presentation from Phoenix Youth House as the agenda item. So All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Perfect. And all those who oppose say nay. Perfect. So the motion carries unanimously, so it's now officially an agenda item. So welcome, Patricia.
Hello, my apologies. I was just running a little late and traffic is crazy out there.
No
Yeah.
worries. I know with construction, it's construction season, which is oxymoronic because nothing happened during the season. But anyways.
Yeah, it is. And it's also supper time, rush hour. So apologies, but I am here.
Wonderful. Well, happy to have you. I think, we'll the floor is yours if you wanted to, I don't know if you have a presentation or something you wanted to start, but if so, then you're more than welcome.
I did send a presentation. You could put it on the screen, or I could just talk about YOP, that's the Youth Outreach Program, and answer any questions.
Dorothy, do you know if you have I know I saw the email in the presentation on one of the emails. Do you know if you have
Yes,
that
I do.
on hand?
I do have the presentation. I'm just putting up on the screen just now. Just give me a couple
Wonderful.
minutes.
So while Dorothy's putting it on the screen, what's up? Okay.
Can we all see that? Okay.
Okay. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so my name's Patricia Mercer, and I am the program manager for the Phoenix Youth Outreach Program and the Phoenix Youth Community Center. But today we're going to talk about the Youth Outreach Program. You can just go to the next slide. So what is YOP and who do we support? So the Phoenix Youth Outreach Program, is myself and 2 youth outreach workers. We service youth aged 16 to 24. So any youth who are between those ages right up until your 25th birthday, you're able to receive support through youth outreach. Our outreach services are based in community. So we travel all the way from Sheet Harbor to Grand Lake, Fall River. We meet youth where they are within their community. So that's one program that's really unique to Phoenix, is that we're able to meet you where you are. Youth don't have to come to us. Our staff outreach workers go to them. All of the programs and supports and services are voluntary and completely confidential. Capacity building and community navigation. So what we really help youth with is navigating resources within their communities. We are a province-wide program housed in various agencies and funded through prevention and early intervention through the Department of Community Services. So I work for Phoenix Youth Programs, and we're just one organization, but there are other organizations that also have youth outreach workers as well. There is one misconception that because we are part of Phoenix, our clients have housing insecurity. So like that there's a stigma that you have to be homeless to access our programs, and that's far from the truth. Youth can access us. Actually, if you go to the next slide, I'll go through some of the supports that we offer. So if youth are having, challenges and just need some mentorship, if they're struggling at home or at school and just want to have supportive conversations around emotional, practical and emotional support, we also have that. Service and navigation and advocacy. So we'll help you navigate supports within your community, but we'll also help you navigate or advocate if you're having challenges at school, if you're having challenges with maybe a social worker with the Department of Community services. That is our role as well. We also work with youth around education and employment, family support. The housing piece we do, if you're looking for housing, independent housing, right now with the housing crisis, we're unable to really solve that problem. But if you need support going to a viewing or filling out an application, we do that as well. For youth who are who may be homeless, that are looking for more temporary or long-term housing, we do have the Phoenix House and the Phoenix Shelter as well, which is more temporary, your 4 to 8 week stay. And Phoenix also has what we call Phoenix Home for Independence. And in that sense, if a youth is coming and they go to school and they work and they're just homeless, they're able to live in one of those homes where there is staff on site 24 hours to provide support. So that's the asterisk there around housing. We do housing support, but in just different capacities depending on the youth situation. We can also accompany youth, so we can drive them to appointments, whether it's the doctor, the dentist, to see a worker, things like that we do. We also do recreation, so programs and connecting them to programs or recreation sports within their community. So like that peer socialization piece we do as well. So those are just some of the supports that we do offer. You could go to the next slide. So again, we provide, youth outreach workers provide one-on-one case management. We meet youth where they are. We help youth work on building skills and development. We work with youth to set and support their goals. So youth, we understand our programs are youth-centered. The youth will, come and talk about the challenges they may have, but they are the drivers. They're always in a driver's seat in terms of support. So they tell us what their support they're looking for, and we work with them to meet those goals. The program, again, is voluntary, so youth must engage to stay connected. So that's really the only thing. Our programs are not mandated, so a youth cannot be mandated to work with us. They have to want to have those supports and engage in the programming as well. Next. So to refer, they can call this number on the screen if youth want to refer themselves. So youth can do their self-referrals. A family member can also call and refer. YOP can also meet and provide info sessions with no obligation to complete an intake. So if the youth does call and just wants to learn more about the programs that we offer or the supports that we have within the program, there's no obligation to complete an intake and do the whole process. They can just call us, we'll meet with them, we'll have a conversation, and then we'll see if the supports that we have or the programs kind of meet their needs. And if they do, great, we complete an intake and then we start to work on a support plan. If we don't, then we will refer them to other organizations within their community that may have the supports to help them. And I think that's it. That's pretty much an overall, a general sense of YOP. Open to any questions.
From my end, in terms of are you finding that you're having, like in terms of demand, you guys find you're having more than you can sort of process, or do you find like it needs more sort of exposure? Do you find that not enough people know about this resource? What's sort of your experience with it?
Right now, we're doing a lot of community engagement to get the program back out there. Pre-COVID, we had overwhelming amounts of youth, like it was, coming through and providing support to but since COVID, so post-COVID, we're finding now there's a lot more youth that are in crisis versus just looking for like social emotional support or connection. And a lot of that is due to the housing crisis as well. So a lot of youth are looking for housing, which we don't really have an answer for that. But we go out and we do presentations so that more and more youth are aware of the supports and services. And let me just add too, with Phoenix Youth Programs overall, all of the supports and services throughout the program are free.
Perfect. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
When it's just out of curiosity, when I know that, obviously, housing is a ubiquitous issue in our society today. When people come, so when people like let's say you have someone who refers themselves and their main concern is housing, do you find that you're usually able to offer other supports? And if you do you find usually people, are they interested in them, or is usually housing the primary concern?
No, they come with a lot of challenges. Housing has become increasingly high numbers for housing right now post-COVID, but pre-COVID, we see youth for a variety of reasons. They are open to supports. If we're talking housing specifically, what we'll do is connect them with a housing support worker within their community that can better support them around the housing piece if they're looking for independent housing. I don't know how much you all know about Phoenix, but the Youth Outreach Program is just one program overall, the whole arching umbrella. Phoenix also has a learning and employment center that does employment and education. We have a Phoenix Center for Youth, and within that program, there is a trusteeship program, there's a parenting program, there's an intensive case manager, there's a nurse on site. We also have PYFT, and that's the Phoenix Youth, the Family and Therapy Team. So we do have access to a lot of resources within our own organization as well, but we also do refer externally if we can't meet their needs within our own organization.
Does the YOP work with like rec centers and stuff, or do you guys like independent?
We're work with, give me an example when you mean work with.
Like, do you guys like are partners with like rec centers and stuff, or is it just like you guys have your own like rec centers and stuff, or?
Yeah, so we have our own in terms of not necessarily a rec center. So one of the programs within Phoenix is the Phoenix Youth Community Center, which is located in Mulgrave Park. So that's a community center where residents of Mulgrave Park and surrounding areas, which would be the north end of Halifax, can access that center. Now we do Needham, the Needham Center, if you're familiar with the North End, we do partner with them, and where we'll go there and we'll take our kids there to use the gym, or we might host an event there. So there is a partnership in that sense. But other than that, we do have our own our spaces and our community center that we utilize ourselves.
I was also wondering, from the age range that you said you provide services to, where do you see the majority of people like coming in, on which end, or is it really just all spread out?
Right now, it's really all spread out. there's a general stream. So when we talk about age range, there's a general stream, which is any youth, again, age 16 to 24. You age out on your 25th birthday. So right up until you turn 25, you can receive those supports. So if somebody, for example, comes into a program at 16, they can stay and receive supports up until they turn 25, if that's how long their support plan needs to happen or last. We also have a stream where we work with youth in care, so under the Department of Community Services as well. So numbers really go up and down, but we're really seeing youth all over, like from as early as 16, right up, some are 24, looking for supports.
And as the youth advisory committee, is there anything that we can do to kind of help, maybe like in spreading the word or in promoting certain programs that you'd like to see more of an uptake in? That kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Sorry. Absolutely. Again, like I said, we're out there doing a lot of community engagement and presentations and talking to folks because we do currently have room on our caseload. So a lot of supports right now and services are to capacity, and they're turning youth away, not because they want to, because they don't have the capacity to support them. Right now we are currently accepting new referrals. It's just getting it out there, getting the information out there, and just letting more and more youth know that we are here. We want to support. We're happy to have conversations. Again, if we don't have the answer, and most times we don't always have the answers, we will help them navigate other supports and services within their community to help not solve their problems, but help them to kind of mitigate their challenges and reach their goals.
Hi, Patricia. Thank you so much for taking the time to fight through traffic and to meet with us. We really appreciate it.
No worries.
Just a really quick question. I know there's a lot of youth on the committee right now that are very passionate about working with, supporting youth, working in community, and perhaps one day they would like to work with the youth outreach program or work with Phoenix. I was just curious, and you are a manager, so hopefully you're able to answer this. What credentials or experience would you folks be looking for in youth outreach workers or youth support workers? Yeah, if somebody did want to eventually work alongside Phoenix.
Yeah. So in terms of like, if we're talking like academic credentials, there's a lot of staff that have their BSW, child and youth degrees. We have folks who have psychology degrees. Like, it really ranges around that. For me, I'm very passionate about community and lived experience as well. So not everybody has, those 3 letters or a degree, that academic experience. They could be just working on it. But for me, if you're really passionate about community and you're really community oriented and want to help and support people, as a manager on a resume, I look at that as well. And again, because I'm not in a position where I have to take somebody, like, it's not mandatory that you have the academic piece. To me, that's kind of an asset to it. If you have a lot of community experience and you're applying for a position in just for example, the Phoenix Youth Community Center, well, that's really what I would look at versus how much, academics you have, those qualifications. When we talk a little more deeper, if we go into youth outreach, there is experience and there is a component, because now you're working with youth who, a lot of youth who are in crisis, and you're really dealing with youth who are really struggling, whether it's like homelessness they're experiencing, or, you know, there's challenges at home, and now you're working with the Department of Community Services, or you could be working with Child Protection. There's a level of experience and knowledge that you kind of need to have to navigate and help those youth meet their needs. So it really depends on which program that you're looking to go into, would really determine what that would look like. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think that's fantastic that you consider experience as well, because I know a lot of organizations are just looking for certain academic credentials. I do have a follow-up question. Unless anybody else has one, please feel free to jump in. Yeah, anybody else at all? Okay, perfect. Yeah, Patricia, I'm just wondering, after a youth ages out of the program, or maybe they exit the program, I'm just wondering if Phoenix Outreach does any follow-up after the fact with the participants or past participants.
Yeah, so all of the programs would do. So essentially, when the youth turns 24 in whatever program they're in, there's a transition plan there that takes place. So there's never a time that Phoenix would say, and I've been with the organization for 10 years, there's never a time where I've seen a youth turn 25 and Phoenix say, okay, here you go, like, we're done. That transition plan is meant to help you transition into independence. And if you're not there at 25, we still will work with you in terms of now connecting you to more adult resources. So again, we never would turn you away. It's more of that community navigation and connecting you now. You're 25, you're no longer considered a youth under our mandate, but ideally in most organizations, you still are a youth until you're 30. We will just now kind of work with you and kind of refer you over to another organization that can now help you meet your needs.
That's great. Thank you again, Patricia. I appreciate it.
If a youth comes into the program and then decides to leave, are they allowed to come back or no?
Absolutely. Again, when I say youth are in the driver's seat, you're the driver. If I, for example, a youth calls and they self-refer and I have a conversation, we meet 2 times and then they don't want to meet with me anymore, that conversation. So every time I end a meeting, I just remind folks, this is voluntary. If you're not ready to engage right now, here's my card. You could call me in 2 weeks. You could call me the following year. They can access right up until their 25th birthday. So if you're 16, you come into a program, and we've had it, and then, you kind of meet those needs, you meet your goals, you're 18, you may come back when you're 21. And then we start fresh, like we don't look backwards. Yeah, so there's never a time. It's when you're ready, really.
I had one more question about community partnerships. You might have touched on it before, but are there any, I guess, local communities or any branches of support that have been like really helpful and accommodating for your movement? Or do you think that there might be room for improvement in terms of support that you guys get?
I think there's always room for growth. The more resources you have, the better equipped you are to support youth. But we work with several community partners, and just depending again on the area of the challenge. I don't like to use the word problems. I don't think youth have problems. They have situations and challenges. But I can't think of a time where. The only time I would say with that is sometimes when we're talking about working with broken systems. So like when we're, the Department of Community Services, there's times where we're advocating and we're kind of challenging them. in situations like that. But if we're just talking like community partners, we've been okay. I haven't really had any challenges with that. The only thing I would say there is sometimes we'll place a referral and there's a wait list like this. So then I need to like move on to the next and the next and the next. And a lot of people are to capacity just given the state of the world we're living in right now.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. One thing I will add too, like when you're out there, we want you to share, get the message out there, is that when you enter a program, so if a youth calls the youth outreach program and they complete an intake, they again have access to all of Phoenix supports. They don't have to do like an intake for every single program. If you enter in through the youth outreach program and the support you're looking for is education, well, you now have access, once you've completed that intake, to all of the supports and services from the Phoenix Learning and Employment Center. If it's therapy and they're looking for counseling, well, then it could be an external referral, but it could be an internal referral again. So you kind of come through one program, but you have access to every program within the organization.
And what would be the best way to reach you if the youth don't have access to a phone or like an internet connection? I know it's like a technicality, but if they can't physically call you, then what do you think would be a good option for them, just to come to your location?
They could come to a location. There's many, even if the Phoenix Center for Youth on Coburg Road is one location where a lot of youth, that is our drop-in center, where they can actually go. There's also other locations if they went into the Phoenix Learning and Employment Center and just, when they talk to a case manager there, they would just automatically refer them to the youth outreach program. Not having a phone would be challenging, but that doesn't mean that we still can't provide support. A phone may be one of the supports that we provide. We help them, get a phone. And maybe for the first couple months or the first year, we're paying for minutes on a phone so that they have access to us. It's really individualized. We look at all youth as individuals. Their situations are unique. But it could be, like just that, having access to a phone, to having access to education, to providing tutors. It could be counseling. And, if we're having a conversation and then it's counseling that's kind of mitigating you from reaching other goals to obtaining, or going back to school for your education, then those are things that we'll do as well. So it's really unique.
You might have already touched on this, but what are some of the kind of avenues that you've been using to get the program out to youth in Halifax?
In Halifax. So yeah, we do have pamphlets that are out. So and just community organizations, we go out, we do presentations with them. We'll talk about the supports. Like what we'll do is ask them like who they are, get to know them, what supports do you have, what do you offer, and then vice versa, we'll give them the same information. We have pamphlets as well. Phoenix also has a website. So if you go to Phoenix Youth Programs, there's the overall Phoenix website has a list of every single program within Phoenix, and we'll give you information there as well. The best way is to really call and connect with an outreach worker. Or schedule a meeting. Again, if you can't, to kind of mitigate those barriers of transportation, we'll come to you.
Any last questions for participants? By the way, for coming. We're happy to sort of be able to get the presentation. I mean, it's a service that I didn't know too much about, so it's always, interesting to know, or, always good to know what's available out there in the community.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I think if there's no further questions, we'll let you go, Patricia. Thank you again for joining. If there's sort of anything else that comes up, I mean, feel free to message, either I or Dorothy, if you wanted to, if there's anything else that comes to mind after the presentation. But thank you very much for coming by.
All right, thanks for having me. If anyone does have any questions or any youth that might, benefit from our supports, please don't hesitate to reach out or send them my way.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now. Perfect. So it's good, it's always nice when scientists are able to come in. Very interesting presentations. So, was there sort of any final thoughts regarding that presentation? I'll leave the floor open for that.
I think it was a good presentation because I've actually heard of them before. So it was pretty nice to know that, okay, this type of programs like exists for youths.
Especially the fact that it sort of sounds like they have room for more youth. I know a lot of those resource programs, like she said, usually they're stretched thin and it's, manpower issue. So it's sort of nice to know that that's a resource for people in need. It's available when we do have this stuff for it.
In terms of us spreading the word for them, what can the youth advisory committee do? I know that there's like some like restrictions on how we can like promote things, but if it's something like reposting something from the HFX Next Gen account, or just kind of putting up a poster in the rec rooms that we have, could that be something we do?
Absolutely. And I can actually probably get my hands on a bunch of those pamphlets and bring them to our October meeting to hand out to y'all as well, if you want to share them with your networks. I'm sure that Patricia would really appreciate that. That's a great question.
It's something to consider also for the youth summit. That's something we wanted to get going for next spring or something like that. That it's something we could, I don't know if you necessarily bring them or if you even have just pamphlets available from them, but it's it's a good sort of opportunity for that. Wonderful. I think that's sort of everything we had on the agenda. Is there any final thoughts before we adjourn the meeting? Is there anything that I missed? Let me know. Any other additional thoughts? Perfect. So I think I think the plan currently is to meet in person, correct?
Yep. We've got the youth powerhouse booked for our next meeting and every other
Wonderful.
meeting to June if we want to do that.
Perfect.
We just want to say thank you everyone for your patience as we were waiting for Patricia there. Really appreciate it.
Wonderful. So I think if that's it, I'll create a motion to adjourn the meeting. But I'm looking forward to next month. I think it'll be nice having an in-person. It's always nice to have the in-person meeting. So I'll now start the motion to adjourn the meeting. So that'll only require a mover.
I'll move.
Thank you, Abraham. So this meeting is now adjourned as of 6